You're now listening to the Thousand Story Podcast, presented by Thousand Story.
I'll turn this up. Hey, yo, turn me up. Turn me up on my headphones. Yeah. Luda. It's murder.
Murder was the case that they gave me. You know?
La daddy, we like to party. We don't bother nobody.
What is up? You are listening to the Thousand Story Podcast with your co-hosts Naji
and Luis.
How you feeling? How you living?
Good.
We're feeling good. We're feeling good. So today we wanted to talk about test pancakes. Yeah. So like when we say that,
Hold on.
I'll let you take it.
Test pancakes. All right. What we really mean is, are you putting some cinnamon in those fucking pancakes?
That's what he means.
What you doing? You dropping vanilla? What's happening with these pancakes? All right. Do you use honey? Maple syrup?
Who knows?
Personally, I use honey. Oh, sweetened condensed milk? I'm into that. But anyway, no. Test pancakes. We're talking about your music. We're talking about your art.
That we are.
Yeah.
One second.
That actually makes me really hungry for some pancakes. No lie.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just thinking like blueberry pancakes or Belgian waffles.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Belgian waffles.
With a little bit of whipped cream.
I feel you, my guy.
Yeah. So as far as test pancakes go, I feel like every project that an artist releases is a test pancake in a new direction.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I definitely, like, for example, my own album, your own EP. These
Yes.
are both test pancakes, considering that they're the first ones. Well, it's not that they're the first, but
First project, though, to be released. Because it's like, songs is one thing. I mean, like, I feel like when you release, like, singles and songs, you're really just trying to find your sound. You know what I mean? You're trying to, like, put your foot or trying to put your finger on
the pulse
your pulse. Yeah, of, like, who you are.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I experiment with singles in multiple ways. In that way, to one, find your sound, but two, on the kind of marketing side, I use it like once I find a specific direction that I kind of like, I use singles as a means of accessing a new audience. So even though it may be the same kind of sound, just like, or maybe not the same sound, but like, I guess the best way to put it is you can use them as test pancakes for different markets. So, say Coca-Cola has, the regular flavor, and they have like Coke Zero, and they have Diet Coke. They try all these like new flavors, these new things in Ohio first, like their headquarters. So they know that it's got the Coke base, right? But they do little variants.
When Coke Cherry first came out.
You know what I'm saying?
Coke they try
and
those
Coke
out. Vanilla?
Ooh. Coke Vanilla was no joke.
fire.
That was delicious. I think it still exists, though.
It still exists. But I'm just saying that, yeah.
But yeah, that's how I kind of approach singles. For me, it's like, it's a Coke Zero or it's a Coke Cherry. It's not necessarily, it's not Coke. It's still my sound. It's still where I'm at, but just with a little bit of different juice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I did. You know what's interesting? Test personas as well.
Ooh.
Because I did that, because I had this project called Shaky Hand, which I was like releasing music under. And I didn't even release that much. I released like 4 tracks.
Right.
And then one of them really popped off, and I was just like, okay, this is the route that I feel like I need to go to. And then I dropped Shaky Hand and then just went under my name, Luis Pantillo. Yeah. And I started pushing further in that specific route. So like all those 4 songs were completely different. Like I had one lo-fi track, I had one more like hip hop R&B-ish track. I had like an indie rock track and like an indie like acoustic hip hop track that you were on.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to consider that question mark track.
Question mark was as like
it's an ambiguous sound.
It's a very ambiguous sound. Hold on, let's play it real quick. Question mark. See if I can find it in our playlist.
There it is.
So this is question mark.
Yeah. I mean, there's samples being used.
No samples, actually. That was all.
Really? Oh yeah, those were your hand claps.
Yeah.
I've tried, and all the answers in the books I've read, they all seem to lie. Where are you? Where are you?
You know?
With your vocals on the side, yeah. But it's like, what would you even classify this as? I mean,
it's like kind of indie. It's like coffee house indie.
Yeah.
Or like coffee house indie, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because like this track, like really helped me move into, like Someday, the track off of my EP Tides, is similar to this.
So wait, let's go to that real quick.
Yeah. I feel like this is good. We should just share like our progression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Test Pancakes.
So this was the first track off of my EP Tides. Still going in the same vein as like question mark.
Lately I've been thinking about someday. En realidad estoy pensando en ti. If all the stupid things I could take back, then I'd take back what I've done. No hay nada más que puedo decir. Oh, oh. So who knew that I'd be waiting here for you? Yeah, you knew that this ain't what you came to do.
And so this track, like I feel like I started playing with a lot of different things. You know, like I started really dipping into my culture and adding Spanish lyrics.
Yep. There we go. This is the first time we did that.
Yeah. And but it was still in that same vein of like question mark. You know?
Yeah.
So I used that Shaking Hand project to try to figure out like what sort of style. So I did 4 different genres, and question mark just like, I don't know, like Noon Pacific picked it up. And it got like, I don't know, I think it's up to like 67,000 streams or something like that. Yeah. But then I was like, I don't know why, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drop this project and just start another one and just really push into that route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense to me if you're just more comfortable with it. If you feel like that's where you want to go, then you just go that way. But that's the beauty of you're able to experiment, you know? You'll just find out and try new things.
Yeah. I'm definitely still experimenting. I mean, like with all the styles, because like I'm just influenced by like so many different things, and it was hard early on because I got stuck into doing like math rock and like heavier, like faster,
because
pace, like psychedelic
band.
rock, And I really wanted to break out of it because I was like, I'm really into hip hop. I love R&B, and I felt like I was casting aside this whole other side of me that I wasn't tapping into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really where the Shaking Hand project kind of helped kick off like Luis Pantillo, because it was just my experimenting in those styles that I'd never done before, but have always like admired. And like I grew up with all that music. Like that was the first music that I ever listened to, was just like hip hop and R&B. It wasn't
even more so than me, to be honest. Like, well, hip hop, R&B, I was inundated with, and I hated it because my mom. She is an immense fan of 90s R&B and soul, and I'm
90s R&B is amazing, dude.
I'm not I mean, Boyz II Men, cool. Like boy bands back then were
I'm talking about the girl bands, man.
Yeah, girl bands for me, it wasn't it. It just I was not feeling it. I was not feeling 90s R&B girl bands.
You don't like Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls?
I mean, TLC was alright. They have the No Scrubs and Waterfalls, but like other than that, I was like, alright, cool.
Damn.
But yeah, I was
that
not
was like
about
neo soul era.
I know.
That was Erykah Badu.
And it's funny that I'm kind of in that R&B soul direction now, just like unintentionally affected by what my mom like exposed me to. I'm just like, damn it. Anyway, so
that's interesting.
Hip hop for you, definitely. I could hear that. And, you listen to more gangster rap than I do.
Yo, no lie, I legit will just play Dr. Dre casually. And I'll just be like rocking super hard on Dr. Dre, windows blasting.
And that's okay.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like finding your sound is really hard. And it
really
takes a really long time. And it really just comes down to experimenting.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
Even the song playing right now is a song that I made when I made this kind of like super group with my friend Elias. And we were like, all of us are musicians, so we should make like a music group, like a boy band, but who all play like instruments. So I was like, oh, okay, all right, we'll try it. And it was a decent project, but it ended up becoming too much to handle with that, and then my own stuff kind of popping off, and I was like, oh, I gotta slip it off. So I ended up stepping out of the group, and then it kind of dissolved after. But it was an interesting little project to be a part of, you know.
Yeah,
nice to experiment and just kind of reach into my production side, because I didn't do vocals all that much on that. I did vocals on like 1 or 2 songs, mostly background stuff. But it was mainly
you didn't. That's so crazy. That's
on my
so
production
true. You didn't really do that much.
Yeah, this was just straight production for me mostly. That was Neiman.
Yeah, Neiman's dope. Yo, everybody in this group is dope.
It's a really good. I love this song. I think this is the first song we made, like as a group. Memories.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So, you know, I spent some time. That was what 2017.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah, it was. It was summer of 2017.
Or like early, like either spring or summer of 2017.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember because Crystals came out, and
Yeah.
everybody was like, "What?
Like
Who the
Crystals.
fuck is this?" Yeah, it was crazy.
I have so many test pancakes. Like, hold on, let me find Crystals.
Crystals is a great track. This is such a dope track.
History.
It's so good. Is that you singing too? I know that's Eli.
Yeah,
But
Eli
you're
and
doing
me.
You're doing the backup.
I'm smile.
Yeah, that is you.
Yeah. Ugh.
Met you in the universe, it felt like paradise. Energy and a common interest.
But yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and so that direction for me was like, that was kind of just getting into, you know, dipping my toes into the production pool, the live instrumentation pool, because I started as a drummer, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I play an instrument, but I also play other instruments that I really want to like learn and like implement in my music. So this was a great time to do that. It was like probably like a 6-7 month long project. That it really was short lived, but
Yeah,
you know, it was a nice little practice run for me at least.
That's true. I wish I had songs recorded from the Val's project, because we didn't really we were mainly a live group.
Yeah.
So we don't really have like many recorded. The ones that we do have are not very good at all. They were terribly recorded, and it was like we didn't know. You know what I mean? Like we just didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, of course. But you try, you experiment.
yeah.
The only way you're gonna get good and be decent at anything is just to try shit. Just
I wish I still had the project files, just at least to like remix it so that it sounds way better. But it's okay. It's okay. You know, it was an era, and that's the thing. Is I feel like you live through eras. You know what I mean? Musically. Mm-hmm. But I've never really shied away from like playing off of like my influences, because like I'm and it goes back to like feeling like I was not tapping into so many other sides of myself musically, you know? So I really started like looking at my influences and not like just admiring and then like trying to do something similar, but in my own vein. Because I feel like when you're finding your own sound, like once you find your own sound, you just have to you fit it into like different scenarios.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You definitely do.
Yeah. So then, and that's what helps you create like new music.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you can always have more than one quote unquote sound.
Yeah.
Like, there's always going to be directions that you kind of, well, you have to find them first.
Yeah.
You have to kind of branch out, experiment, get weird, and then know where your crafts lie. You know, so even just with my voice, for example, you know, I'll go in different directions. Sometimes I'll be a little more operatic. Sometimes I'll be a little more, you know, hip hop and just soulful for no reason. And sometimes I'll just be stupid as hell, and you know, and you know, but the ability to be able to do that is just, it comes from just trying it.
Yeah.
And seeing what sounds
sure.
good, and seeing what doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
And having people around you tell you what doesn't sound good.
What's good and what isn't.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. Because, I feel like recently... So when I was in Val's, I used to scream in certain tracks.
Yeah.
And then when I started doing recording my own music, I was like, I don't really want to do that. And then I just started doing it again. But it's weird because it's I can only do it occasionally. I can't just make that part of my sound.
Right.
It's just me fitting myself into that specific sort of sound. You know what I mean?
Huh.
It's really odd.
That's how it works, though.
But, I don't know. I feel like the only way you're going to know what your audience is going to like is by sharing something that is just... Every track is just, completely different.
Yeah, you got to try.
What I mean?
You got to just get out there, do weird shit, and see what happens. And then, as at the end of it, you can kind of look. So that's where using analytics and stuff come into play. I mean, yes, there are literal analytics, data and plays and whatnot. But I mean, literally just asking people or just looking at the response of something. Yeah. However they're reacting to it is a clear way to be like, oh, all right, this is something I can keep doing. Yeah. If they're on Twitter, I love this, and then you release the next track and they're like, keep going.
Keep doing it. That's so real. Oh my God. When people hit, when people get really
that's not a bad thing. No. It's not as reaction. It's just all right, this was okay. But then you know.
So I wonder what gives certain artists the freedom to do that. Because we've talked about Kanye, for example. Kanye, every album that Kanye has really released has been very different.
Yeah.
They're all different. But every project I feel is standalone. You know what I mean?
He commits to a sound for every project, which is nice, to have that kind of consistency or to complete the idea and the thought and kind of present it in that way. He's smart in that he's all right, I'm going to try a new sound, but I'm going to give you the whole breadth of what sound I wanted to really express with that and see how you feel about it. And then keep it moving, Yeah. And it'll be, if it was dope, cool. If not, cool. That was a moment in time. Now we're moving on to the next one, regardless of the answer of the audience.
Yeah. So what do you think is best? Is it best to release an album or a project with many different sounding tracks? Or to release something with a main theme and idea? Because it almost ends up being a concept album. I mean, if you think about it, his albums are very concept albums.
They are completely concept albums. 100%. He's one of the few artists that actually know how to make a great concept album.
Yeah.
But and it depends on what kind of artist you are. If you're a very mixtape oriented kind of guy or girl, whoever the case may be, you're gonna have kind of a limited sound palette if you stay in that headspace. So if you know that you're used to doing bootleg type things or using a specific type of beat, even you're gonna kind of box yourself in
to that.
And that might be okay if you really want to be known as that. If you want to be known as the best spitter, you're gonna pick tracks and make tracks that kind of reflect that.
Yeah,
and that's cool. But if you want to really branch out, if you want to be known as more than one thing, if your aim is to be considered a quote unquote artist and not just a singer or not just a rapper,
right,
then you have to branch out and you have to experiment. That's the only way you're going to do that, and you can do that on a single basis or an album basis. I think honestly just depends on what the mood is, what people respond to. Well, not really what people respond to, but what you feel most comfortable sharing. If you feel like you want to put the work in for a whole album, then put the work in for a whole album, if that's really what's coming out. But the takeaway is not to cater to your audience in the sense that you put out a song, they really fuck with it, and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna only do this. No,
I'm only gonna write sexy music.
That's
forever.
Not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that that you've done a good thing or that you've created a good piece of art, depending on the response. And if that's your goal, cool. If it's not your goal, then you tweak it. But if you want to keep making that, then keep making it.
Yeah. That's just, it's really tough. I saw this movie the other day, and it was Velvet Buzzsaw. Mm-hmm. And it was really interesting because one of the concepts that one of the commentaries of the whole movie was basically about how business ruins creativity and art. Because when you find something that works, you tend to replicate that because it works, because it makes you money.
Right.
But as an artist, it's really difficult to continue to do that because you almost feel like you're selling out. Even though it's you creating it, you're still just doing something solely based off the fact that it becomes popular and that it's a money-making machine.
Right. You can never, in order to actually successfully be an icon or be, like a head in your field.
Yeah.
You can never stick with
the plan.
The plan, yes.
I mean,
definitely.
you know what I mean.
But you can never stick with the same direction. You always got to be not changing necessarily. Like you don't have to change everything about yourself all the time, but constantly growing. I think that would be the term. There.
See, that's why I feel like artists like Chris Brown, Jason Derulo, just really fall off. But
see, they have Jason Derulo, yes. Chris Brown, fuck him. But
fuck Chris Brown.
But more than that, the reason why he hasn't fallen off is because he knows how to stay relevant, which is it's the most baffling thing.
But what's crazy is like him and even like Pitbull. Yeah. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Pitbull, but he knows how to make like club bangers like no other. Like and real.
And he sticks with that.
Yeah.
And the thing is like they also kind of know and grow with their own audience. Like they're not trying to there's a difference between growing, quote unquote growing, and kind of pandering to the same age group that you were 10 years ago with a new sound. That's different than just growing with your audience and changing as your audience grows as well. Right. So like okay, with the Chris Brown example, again, fuck him. But
fuck Chris
with
Brown.
the Chris Brown example, when he first started, he was appealing to tweens, 12-year-old to 18-year-old girl teenagers. Like that was his thing, and he committed to that. And as he moved up and as he kept going, amidst all of the stupid and just vile shit that he's done, he still managed to stay relevant because that fan base that he grew up with, those teens and those preteens, they grew up and they were somehow enamored with this guy.
Despite everything that he's done.
Him physically abusing Rihanna and several other people. But he created such a memorable
experience,
brand and sound for himself that the people that grew up listening to him stay with it. It became nostalgic, and he continues to make music for those people, and those are the people that continue to carry him and continue to carry his career, which is crazy. It's theoretically it's genius, but for him it's like somebody like him, it's like why does that work? Why? And it's just because he knows how to market himself. He knows how to keep in touch with the people that really fuck with him. And he's trash, but he's smart.
He's awful.
Can't
reiterate that enough, honestly.
He's honestly just the worst.
I just feel I feel like maybe we should cut this out of the podcast. Just talking about him.
I'm
playing.
I'm playing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just playing, but it's just like I don't want to bring more attention to his name.
And it's not, so disclaimer, it's not because he has done things and thus he's forever marred and marked that I'm like, no, he's terrible. It's the fact that he hasn't changed.
No.
It's that.
Oh, he's still the same.
Because Robert Downey had a history. You had Mark Wahlberg have a history.
Yes.
You had so many people. I mean, it's just two people, but there are so many people who do shitty things, but grow, acknowledge them first of all, and change and actively change. But Chris Brown has not.
No.
But anyway,
enough
about Chris Brown. He's continually changed and he's continually grown. And artists continually change and grow, and they continually experiment, and that is how.
David Bowie was like that, man.
Yeah.
Up until he died. His last album was like a drum and bass album. Black Star. And it was just so like and the weird thing is that no David Bowie fan from like his earlier years, like his like Ziggy Stardust days, would ever fuck with that drum and bass album. Like legit though. Yeah. But I feel like they did because he died. One. Yeah. But two, I feel like they already expect that from him. That he's constantly going to change and evolve and do something like Madonna. You know what I mean? Like just be completely different. So I feel like they've trained their audience to expect that.
Expect difference.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's going to be hit or miss, but he's, like you said, trained his audience to really understand you're not going to get this sound every time.
Yeah.
It's like, I am a continually evolving entity.
Yeah.
I am David Bowie. I'm Ziggy Stardust. I am you know, in anything. Yeah. He's everything and anything at the same time, and he's built that into his brand, which is smart. You know, it allows him the creative freedom to do what he wants and try.
There are certain artists even today that I feel like I really, really love Mac DeMarco. Like, he's one of my favorite artists of all time. But then there was a point in time where he just released like Mac DeMarco 2, and then released Salad Days, and then he released another one. That's literally the name of the title. But they were all like you could put them in like a triple album or whatever, you know what I mean, like a double LP or whatever, triple LP, and you wouldn't even really be able to tell that much of a difference. Like, yes, he's constantly growing, he's adding synths every now and then, but there was a point in time where I was kind of worried. I was just like, oh man, like, has he hit that point where like that's just his style of music and he's only going to remain in that style, which is, to me, I get nervous about that, because how long can you really keep that? Because, for example, like those pop punk bands like Fall Out Boy, and I don't know what other pop punk bands are there.
Panic at the Disco.
Panic at the Disco. They haven't changed.
They really. Brendan Urie. I don't know. Brendan. He has kind of changed his. He's shifted a bit, but
I mean, they have become a lot more poppy.
Yes,
and less.
But he's
punk.
Also went solo as a result.
Oh, really?
It's no longer a whole band. Well, I mean, yes, he has a live band, but it's mainly Brendan now. Like, it's literally just him. Like, none of the other members are in it anymore. It's just him, and it's changed in that sense. So they've moved from that more rock, grungy pop sound to really more into the pop
straight
direction.
Pop.
And if people like that, cool. You know, but I don't think he did that in response to the people. I just think he did that because that's where he wanted to go. I mean, he was always that influence on the band.
So what do you think about Maroon 5 then?
Maroon 5?
Because Songs About Jane was amazing.
Again, I still don't think they're catering to any market in the sense that if they actually listen to the people that listen to their first albums, they would still be doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That jazzy sort of rock.
Yeah, they're experimenting with their own style, and yes, taking advantage of the fact that pop and whatever sound that they're at now sells. But I still think they're shifting. They're trying to shift. They have shifted. They definitely have shifted. I mean, clearly, you can hear from Songs About Jane to where they are now.
Moves Like Jagger.
And
that was them, right?
Yeah. And subjectively, we're like meh, but subjectively, they might be like, and they have the absolute creative freedom to do that. So it's smart that they were able to take the reins and change it into the direction that they wanted. As far as I know, they could not like it at all because they're still majors. I don't know what their whole arrangement is, but
it's interesting because like the drummer for the Rolling Stones was doing an interview one time. I might have told this story already, but they asked him like, oh, how does it feel to be like one of the drummer for one of the biggest bands in the whole world, ever? And he was like, oh, it's just, it pays the bills. Yeah. He's like, I'm really a jazz drummer.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Because, like, you can have that difference, in like, blah, 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 blah. You can differentiate a job from, like, a passion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even in your creativity. Yeah. Which is super interesting. Like, in my own case, I know, for example, that, like, my top 10 songs are all coincidentally, they all have something to do with a woman or the illusion of a woman, or like that I'm alluding to a woman. Right. Even though, let me look at it real quick. So I'll go to my profile here. The number one track right now, Mona Lisa, alluding to Mona Lisa's art, or the Mona Lisa. Yeah. Right? Might Just is a sexy tune, right? Hipster Girl, it's about a girl. Right? Trust Issues is about a relationship, not necessarily a girl, but Kiss and Tell. Literally Fallen, like Long Distance, And the thing is I'm not making these with that intention in mind at all. I'm 0% like, you know what? People like when I talk about girls, so I'm going to talk about girls. Mona Lisa isn't even about a girl. Might Just was a one-off, right? Hipster Girl wasn't even written by me. 99% of that was Falcone.
Shout out Falcone.
Shout out Falcone. Evan. Killing it.
Amazing.
Trust Issues was about a relationship, not necessarily it was just a hypothetical, right? These are all things that I explore, and I found a way to kind of tell universal stories through a digestible medium, which is for me, it happens to be songs that don't sound like they're about girls.
Yeah.
So I tell my stories in a way that my audience can digest it. Yeah, but I'm telling an entirely new, different story in an entirely different genre.
Yeah.
At least to the best of my abilities. That's what I try to do. I'm not saying, hey, they like songs about girls, so I'm going to make songs about girls. None of my songs are made with that in mind. Like zero.
Yeah.
I'm always making just what I want to make. And it happens to, I kind of write in the sense so it's digestible in that way. So they feel like it's still me and they can receive it well, but it's still an entirely new direction or thought. Right.
Yeah.
And over time, my sound and what people will kind of be attracted to will shift because Naji's an ever-changing and growing thing.
Yeah. So how do you, when you make your own music, like when you're producing your own beats and tracks and stuff like that, do you ever have anything in mind? Do you ever think like oh, maybe I'm going for this emotion, or do you just create without a thought about where you're going to go and just let it take you?
I always create with some thought in mind. I'm always I have an intention for this thing.
Right. But
the intentions end up being either I'm trying to take the perspective of an inanimate object or an emotion. So I'm literally trying to take the perspective of the emotion itself, right? So I might be writing from the perspective of sadness or conversation with depression, right? And that's just where my mind happens to go.
Interesting.
Sometimes it's just I just wanted to write a thing, and I had this one track I made after Mac Miller died, and it was just how I thought his process, his thought process might have been occurring at that time, And it's a really somber thing. It'll come out at some point next year or this year, or whatever the case. You'll know it when you hear it. But it was a very somber thing that I wasn't thinking, I need to use these words and I need to honor Max, blah, 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 blah. I was just I wonder what he was thinking. And then just kind of...
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, because I go based off of a feeling. When I pick up an instrument, I'm already feeling some sort of way based on thoughts that have probably been ruminating my mind for a few days or a while or whatever. And then for me, it just kind of comes out in a musical form. And that's where I go with it. Yeah. And the stories that I tend to tell, I'm trying to interweave those moments together into a specific story. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Yeah. Because I don't know if I couldn't write. I don't think I could write something that wasn't concept-based. Not necessarily musically, because a concept album can still be just a storyline. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily have to be cohesive musically, but as long as the music tells the emotion for me or portrays the emotion that I'm trying to say or trying to express, the storyline can be told with the words, and the melody lines. Yeah. But yeah, I've always found it very hard to do singles and to test anything out with singles. And I don't really know why that is. I've only, under the Luis Pantillo project, I only dropped that one single, and I still felt weird about it because it wasn't tied to anything. It was just here's an idea, and that was it. It wasn't I even tried to make it here's an idea to lead into this project.
Right.
But
it ended up being just different.
Yeah, but it ended up just being different. Yeah. So instead, the concept for Why Are We Afraid is just asking myself, why am I afraid to show people who I am, to express myself and to allow people into that world? You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tie a concept to one song as opposed to a full project for me.
Okay, yeah. Everybody's different though. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
It's some people, like I said, it's just everybody's different. Kanye won't leave until he gets the whole ass thoughts and series of thoughts out. But some people just want to, feel it and let it go. Yeah. And that's fine. That's definitely fine. And that's a great way to experiment with where you want to go, I do it all the time. My entire career is based off of singles up until I released the album, Misfit. I literally made everything as a single. All of my songs. There's 70, 80 songs, right, in the span of 2 years. All singles or features, And in that time, I used that time and used those features to, one, get the name out there, but two, really just experiment, so you can hear my own progression with like the first feature versus my most recent. So like, I'm trying to think of what my first feature was. Honestly, I don't even remember.
I don't know, man. I thought it was Hipster Girl.
No, I don't think it was way before that.
Because you was Fallen the first track that you released really under Naji?
No.
It was Big Potatoes.
No, Patience was.
Patience.
Yeah, Patience was the first track that I released as Naji. Like, and that was with Martin and Javon, or Randy, Randy Savage. So wait, let me go back here real quick. Let me find it. So this is right.
Oh yeah, I remember this track.
So this is where I started. This is the first. Well, it's not the first test pancake. Baked Potatoes was the first test pancake.
Yeah.
But this is where I started in like the kind of collaborative realm. I think this is like the first collab that I did, as far as I can. No, I did another collab earlier, but that was with a different project, and I wasn't singing. And this was late 2015 when I made this.
This is a good track.
It was fun. Let's see, and then from there, I then did. So what's my most recent joint? Misfit. Anything on Misfit, really?
Yeah.
So.
Whoa.
Yeah. So then, this was a collab I did with
The
P, and
shout out to P.
It's not like you won't really hear the progression in two songs, but it's just taking a while to get comfortable. Like Blow, even is like me still getting comfortable and constantly trying new things. Like this is a whole different writing process because I was like, I want to try something very, very different.
Yeah.
And this is actually the second incarnation of this song. The first one was like a lot grittier.
It was hard. It was gritty as fuck.
Sympathetic on me. Who are you trying to be? I promised my mama I'd find out. But I never found my nirvana. I'm losing my mind. I'm looking for release.
So there's obviously some familiar elements in there.
Yeah.
But it's a more developed me. It's a more refined me. It's a more comfortable me.
What's the furthest that you've gone out of your comfort zone?
Ooh.
Like as far as like the tracks that you released.
Ones that are open to the public. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, because
there's a lot of shit.
We can play some other stuff, but
we can't release those yet. Let's see. Probably. I'm like looking in the playlist that we have here.
Yeah.
Of all of these, maybe let me see. I'm surprised this isn't in the playlist here. Okay. So maybe as of late.
Okay.
It was kind of like a peer into just a very different me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is different.
It's very different.
It's real slow, very emotional.
Yeah. Now, but it's still not even the farthest, because there's a lot of shit that I haven't released. So oh man, I wish I could share some of the other shit. But like, I made this and I made this one in like the same few months.
Yeah.
Like literally like months before each other, or like in the same week or something like that. We'll fast forward a little bit.
Whispers try and drop me, yeah. I done seen the movies. I think I know how this plays out. I turn around, see the gowns, I'm back like, girl, where you from?
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so different.
In the same like week.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I can't. And then so I'm like, this was
I remember his
Mad Bliss.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
my entire career is based off of Test Pancakes.
After Test Pancakes.
After Test Pancakes.
Yeah.
After Test Pancake.
Yeah.
Like,
the furthest that I really reached out was the Yet to Say track that was on The Tides.
Yet to Say.
Yeah, because like the very beginning of that track, I honestly, like musically, like I didn't really know what to do because it was. What did you say? It reminded you of a Justin Timberlake track?
Yeah, I think
Strawberry. What was it?
Strawberry. Oh gosh,
it's off the 2020.
Yeah, Strawberry. Let me go. Strawberry bubblegum.
Strawberry bubblegum. I was about to say strawberry yum yum.
You're thinking blueberry yum yum.
Yeah, I know.
From Ludacris.
Yeah. This is pretty me. And then this next section, I was like, I don't know what to do.
And it's interesting because, like, I helped you mix this.
Yeah.
And I've heard, like, just going through these, I'm hearing where my mixes have, like, developed and grown. I'm just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Ugh. And this was only last year, but I'm just like,
last year. But like that whole last section, I wanted to be like slightly more hip hop or like, R&B, you know what I mean? That was the first glimpse of my scream ever.
Yes, it was.
It's coming back.
It's coming back.
It's coming back.
Oh, they don't even know. They don't even know. But needless to say, I mean, we spent a lot of time just continually tweaking and trying and making
developing
a bunch of Test Pancakes. I feel like your career is going to be filled with those. Like, if they're not, I don't think you're doing it right. Like, honestly, you should always be having Test Pancakes. It's like when you're performing on stage. Like, if you don't have butterflies, why are you even doing it?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that nervous energy, like that, it's just excitement for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because going on stage is such an amazing feeling, but releasing a song is a totally different feeling. I feel like releasing a song is scary as fuck.
I mean, see, I feel the exact opposite, which is why we work.
Yeah.
Because I find being on stage so stressful. I love it, but it's stressful as hell.
Yeah.
But making a song and releasing that shit, I'm like, finally, yes. God, yes.
For me, I'm like literally about like finger hovering over the enter button. Just like, like using my other hand to push it. Like, fuck, it's gone. And then I run away from the computer for like the next 7 days.
You know, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely okay. But it's all a process.
Yeah.
You know, constantly just trying to find your sound, experimenting, and being okay with, you know, people not receiving things as well.
Yeah.
The whole goal, you have to remember, is you're making art for you. Yes, for people to hear, but you're making it because you enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
You know, it's either cathartic for you or it's just something you enjoy.
Yeah.
So continue doing that and don't let like success or the, you know, the apparent the success,
meaning of success,
or streams or anything like that. Like affect what you want to make to that extent. Like never be like, I don't think my audience is gonna like this, so I'm not gonna put it out.
Yeah,
that is
I wouldn't do that.
Always prioritize the story you want to tell. That is where your audience comes from. You'll always find your audience depending on what you want to put out.
And honestly, I feel like I'm in an amazing position right now, musically, because no one really knows me. You know what I mean? Like, yet no one really knows what I sound like. So I could go anywhere. I'm not locked into like a specific, like people expect this from me or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, and even if they did, I wouldn't feel that much pressure about it. But I understand where some artists feel a pressure to play to their audience. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, especially if you're just starting out, like just go for it. Like just do it. You have literally nothing to lose. There's no judgment. And if people do judge, like, fuck them. I mean, like, honestly, like, it's not worth it, you know?
And worst case scenario, okay, so say you have an entire career, you're incredibly successful, you're following a sound, following a direction. Even then, you can still change at any point. But if you really feel like you don't want to blow the thing up, make an alias. Start another project. You can do anything you want,
Yeah.
If you really want to protect the sound, even if your creative decision is to say, I don't want this to change, cool, make another project.
Yeah.
If you want to have a different direction, that's what it's for,
Yeah. I mean, you can have as many projects as you want.
Yep.
For real.
That's the blessing about art.
The internet, too. Anonymity. You can upload anywhere you want.
Anywhere.
And be anonymous. No one has to know it's you. And if it pops off, people still don't have to know it's you. You can wear a mask like Deadmau5. I mean, like, obviously we know what he looks like. Yeah. Or Marshmallow.
Marshmallow shifted. He was like nothing before. And now because he put on a mask. Marshmallow.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Experimenting.
Experiment. It is your lifeblood.
Yeah.
It will make you succeed and fail and succeed again.
Failure is great.
Like you should be aiming to fail. I think somebody said this too. Like you should definitely be aiming to fail as often as you can, so you can understand yourself.
Yeah.
Like when I say aiming to fail, I don't literally mean like
make
putting out trash. I mean aim to do polarizing things. Aim to make something that is going to cause a reaction. You don't want anything that's just going to be middle of the road. That's forgettable. It's always forgettable.
It's true. That's worse. I mean, getting a bad review is better than no one writing.
It's far better than no review.
Yeah.
It's eyes. It's attention. It's
like do you remember Greta Van Fleet?
No.
You don't remember? Okay, so Greta Van Fleet, they were this band from like Michigan, I want to say, of like a bunch of kids. But they sounded very much like Led Zeppelin and Pitchfork.
Oh,
do you remember?
We
talked about this. Yeah,
I do.
And then Pitchfork wrote a review, and the title of the review was "This is not a good album." That was the title.
That's how it started.
Yeah, and and then the entire review just went downhill from there. Just like basically roasting them as like a copycat band of like Led Zeppelin. Like they had no originality whatsoever. They literally just ripped off different licks from Led Zeppelin and just put them together to make new songs.
Yep.
And the singer was basically just like a vocally mirror image of Robert Plant. Using exact same like intonality and everything. And it was hilarious. But the funny thing about it is I bet you more people listened to that album after Pitchfork said this is not a good album. Then everyone was like, shit, we got to check it out now.
And it was bolstered by Spotify's algorithm. Because it sounded similar to the Led Zeppelin, they were like, oh, let's add this to our playlist.
Oh, yeah.
People will like this.
They ended up on a ton of classic rock playlists.
So even
which is crazy.
Bad shit is better than no shit. Like you don't be middle of the road.
Have you seen the movie? Have you heard about the movie The Room?
Yes.
Worst movie
ever
created. Ever. It was like 2002, 2003. Like if you watch that movie, honestly, it is such trash. It's so bad. But it's so bad that it's good. It cost $6 million to make the movie, and since has turned a profit.
Which is crazy.
I don't understand that.
It's the William Hung of movies.
Seriously, it really is so bad.
You know?
Yeah, and not only that, but there was a book written about it by one of the Greg, I think his name was, one of the guys, main characters. Yeah, one of the main characters in the movie, who was the friend to the director. I can't even remember his name. Tommy Wiseau, I believe is his name.
Got it. I got it.
And he wrote a book which was called The Disaster Artist, which that book then got turned into a movie with James and Dave Franco starring. Seth Rogen's in it. Like, Adam Scott makes an appearance for a second.
You know?
There's just a ton of incredible actors in it.
Polarized.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he intended to make the worst movie ever.
No, he didn't.
Nope.
Absolutely
He did exactly what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it happened to be the worst movie ever.
Yes.
But he still made it. And it wasn't middle of the road for him. It was something. It was something reactionary.
It was passionate.
It was a test pancake.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that people love it because it's so bad. and people, like, there are like midnight screenings of this movie all over the world.
It's got a cult following.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So always be testing. Always just do the most. You know, do the least. But never do just enough. Always do what you just something.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine.
True. Damn. That's hilarious.
So let us know, guys, about your own test pancakes. You know, share some with us on our Twitter, or Instagram at 1000story_.
Yo, I want to hear. Honestly, I do want to hear some people's music and see some people's art. So would you please send us some of your artwork?
Send us
some
links.
of your music, just something, just so we can
send
hear.
us your test pancakes.
Yeah, we're hungry.
We are very hungry, and everybody else.
We got some whipped cream, some blueberries in the fridge,
maple syrup,
you know,
pineapples,
some bananas,
chocolate chips.
Yeah, some chocolate syrup.
I want all that shit, dog.
Yeah. So send it to us at 1000story_.
Yep.
And we have an email address.
Yeah, you can also send it to hello@1000story.co if you would like.
Yeah.
Feel free.
For sure.
Send us stuff there too. Can't guarantee now if you send stuff to my email, can't guarantee we'll get back to you, but we will at least receive it. You know. But Twitter, Instagram, for sure. We'll definitely respond. Let you know. We'll let you know if it's trash too. But we'll be nice.
But we'll be nice about it. You know what I mean? We'll be keep up the good work.
Like you're going.
Keep going.
Keep going.
You know, but it's just like Sean T. You know what I mean? Like it's the Sean T comment. Really.
Yeah.
It's just, like, don't give up. That's not meant to say that it's trash. It's just like you're going somewhere.
You're in a direction.
Don't give up. Just keep going. But anyway, yeah, if you want to hit us up personally on Twitter and Instagram, you can find me at El Pontillo. That's ELPONTILLO.
And me at Mr. Naji Boy. That's MRNAJIBOY.
Wow.
So what do we got coming up next, Luis?
Okay, so next episode, we are going to talk about how to make a delicious salmon pate for your significant other.
Salmon pate.
If you've never had pate, you're missing out. Well, what about salmon mousse? Have you ever had that?
I have not had salmon mousse.
No, it's just weird.
Gross.
It's just weird that you can turn things into that.
Mousse. Ugh.
Yeah.
Just the texture would throw me off.
Pates are also kind of weird. It's like a meat butter. Yeah. Actually, we're just gonna cancel that next episode.
Yep. We're done.
It's trash.
That's all of it.
Trash.
So until next time, we're your hosts, Naji
and Luis.
And like he said, au revoir. See you next time.